Alright, I took a bit of a break after covering all of the Universal stuff that came out. That includes their panel at CinemaCon, uh, the Megan trailer, and covering the FNAF 2 teaser. But now it is time to talk about what MGM, Amazon MGM, has up their sleeves. Starting off with the Masters of the Universe live action film coming out June 5th. Another one in June. My birthday. I will take it. This one, of course, seeing Travis Knight direct and seeing Nicholas Galanzine, Camila Mendez, Jared Leto, Alison Brie, Idris Elba, Marina Baccarin, and Johannes Akor Johannesson in the film. Um, they introduced a first look at the Masters of the Universe film. Though there wasn't a lot of footage of the film itself, we were shown a look at Nicholas Galanzine as He-Man reaching for his iconic sword. Knight expressed that his intention for this movie was to be as faithful to the cartoon and toy line as possible, but also capture a high fantasy aesthetic in live action. We were given concept art and set photos of multiple characters in costume, including Marina Baccarin as the Sorceress, Idris Elba as Man at Arms, Jared Leto as Skeletor, and Alison Brie as Evil Lyn, all of whom have incredible 80s accurate costumes. Amazon MGM promises Masters of the Universe to be one of the biggest films they have on the slate for 2026, putting a large emphasis on showing off time lapses of the physical set elements and costumes being designed. Masters of the Universe is still filming, so there isn't much to glean from the plot, but hopefully the work shown here pays off into something immersive. What we can say is that there is an emphasis on practicality and accuracy without it looking too ridiculous or uncanny in live action. He-Man fans will definitely be happy with these designs. Okay, so I'm not a big He-Man guy, but I could potentially bite on this. Although they didn't show any footage, um, it sounds like they're going in the right step of having it be, accurate to the comic and toy line. So, as long as they keep that accuracy throughout the whole of production, I think they'll have a pretty big hit. Project Hail Mary, directed by Lord and Miller, screenplay by Drew Goddard, who did a companion based on the book of the same name. Ryan Gosling, Sandra Hüller, Milana Ventrub, and James Ortiz in the film. They were treated to a first trailer for the movie. Trailer opens up with Ryan Gosling as a quirky school teacher who's approached by a scientist played by Sandra Hüller, who's from Anatomy of a Fall, who needs his help. Why? The Earth's sun is dying and needs to be reignited. Ryan Gosling's character, who is messy, nerdy, and a little clumsy, clashes with the environment around him, hinting at hilarious dynamics as Cindy Hewler tells Gosling's character in no uncertain words that this mission is a Hail Mary. As Gosling asks, who will do the mission? Everyone looks at him. After some banter about not being the right person to go into space, I put the not in astronaut. We cut to Gosling on his long space journey where he is seen with a beard of various lengths. The trailer closes by pulling the curtain back on the real concept. Gosling encounters a strange creation of light that resembles a spaceship that shoots out an iron like object that he can't determine the origin of. He realizes it's a message. He then boards a large granite like ship and finds a small friendly alien named Rocky. But we only see his small, gross hand with 3 fingers. Ryan Gosling jokes, so I met an alien today, but he isn't growing inside me, which is a real concern at first. The short amount of footage that follows indicates the two are working together. Trailer is a mix of somber, epic, and comedic with some highly ambitious visuals of space via Batman and Dune cinematographer Greg Fraser. So with Fraser's name being attached to this and Lord and Miller directing, I think this will probably be a big hit. Um, Ryan Gosling is, I think, pretty good as like the straight guy. He was that in like Oh, not necessarily that in Barbie, but he was pretty comedic in Barbie, and as well in the Fall Guy as well. So yeah, I think this will probably be a hit, and this will be coming out March 20th of 2026. Verity, Michael Showalter, based on a Verity book of the same name by Colleen Hoover, Anne Hathaway, Josh Hartnett, and Dakota Johnson. Verity, an adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling thriller novel, directed by Michael Showalter and boosted by a star-studded cast. Trailer opens with a meet cute between Josh Hartnett's character Jeremy and Anne Hathaway's Verity, a famous crime novelist, at a bar. After the studio logos, there is a time skip to Dakota Johnson's Lowen entering the now married couple's home. We find out that Verity has recently been through an accident and has been rendered mute due to her condition. So Jeremy has called Lowen to ghostwrite a novel Verity is now unable to finish. Lowen takes on the job and becomes intimately involved in the lives of her employees, and quickly things reveal themselves to be much more complicated than they seem on the surface in this couple's privileged life. The trailer's tone switches to a crime thriller tone. Verity follows Lowen throughout the house. Lowen is shown covered in blood, and we are shown a scene where Jeremy has an affair with Lowen. Lowen is startled as she imagines Verity in Jeremy's place during a kiss. The trailer ends with Verity staring at Lowen through the window, solidifying the movie's scandalous and mysterious tone. Releasing May 15th of 2026. So, very interesting. I'm getting What Lies Beneath vibes about this, where it's like, a woman trying to solve a case going on, but in this instance, it's a woman trying to stop this other woman from, meddling in her affairs, both personal and professional. So that's an interesting take. And if there's anybody that I can convincingly see like act their ass off while being mute, it is probably Anne Hathaway. And also, Josh Hartnett is having like a big renaissance right now. After Oppenheimer, he was like in Trap. He's now going to be in an action movie that I just saw the trailer for during when I went to go see A Working Man, and yeah, he's now like everywhere now, so that's awesome. And Dakota Johnson, like yes, Madam Web, but Materialists are also looks pretty good, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that this sounds like it has some promise to it. After the Hunt, Luca Guadagnino's next film. Julie Roberts, Andrew Garfield, Io Edeberry, Chloe Sevigny, and Michael Stolbarg. I hope I'm saying those last two names right. Um, Trailer starts with academic Harry, that's Andrew Garfield's character, talking about the newer generation's fear of saying the wrong thing. Despite his brash nature, he's obviously entertaining to a young student teacher assistant, played by Io Edeberry. We then get some background on the protagonist, a friend of Harry's, played by Julia Roberts, whom Edeberry works with. Her and Harry's friendship is well established until Io Edeberry's character comes up to Julia Roberts, telling her that Harry sexually assaulted her. Harry vociferously denies the allegations, going on a rant to Julia Roberts about cancel culture and calls Io a fucking bitch. Roberts replies, "Never say that to anyone else but me." The trailer then descends into full on chaos as Io's allegations become much bigger, with a racial component taking shape in the case. Debate among the college and Julia Roberts somehow caught in the middle of the storm. We finally see Io encountering Julia and saying, "I'm not comfortable having this conversation anymore." Julia replies with, "Not everything's supposed to make you comfortable." It's a fitting line to end a trailer that puts its audience on pins and needles. So that's very interesting. So Andrew Garfield's character Harry has an affair with Io Edeberry's character, and Julia Roberts is kind of like a contact point for um, Io Edeberry, and Harry seems like he is an absolute dick about it. Kind of one of those bro type dudes. So I'll be very interested to see how Guadagnino kind of takes this, because, like, I said this about Wes Anderson in the Universal one, but Guadagnino is also like a singular filmmaker. Like, you see his work, and it's like, yep, that's a Luca Guadagnino film. With like Call Me by Your Name, Bones and All, Challengers, and Queer. Like, he has a very distinct body of work. So I'll be interested to see what comes about this in October. It may not be a horror film that I watched during that month, but certainly something that I will be very interested by the time October comes around. Mercy, directed by Timur Bekmambetov. Written by Marco Van Bell, Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson, Annabelle Wallace, and Cully Rise. Again, sorry if I mispronounced the last name. In this, a sci-fi thriller in which a detective, played by Chris Pratt, is accused of murdering his wife. We see him strapped to a chair in an empty room and given a 90-minute time limit with an AI program portrayed by Ferguson. Mercy seems like a fusion of traditional narrative with a desktop perspective, as most of the film's action and information is shared through the program's user interface. Looking into his child's personal life and history to find proof of his own innocence. As Pratt continuously unwinds the core mystery of the film, Pratt's innocent level lowers. Mercy is a wacky yet original high-concept genre film with a diegetic race against time. Okay, so this definitely sounds like... What was that one Tom Cruise movie in which he can, like, see future crimes before they happen? I was gonna say Equilibrium. It's not Equilibrium. Is it Minority Report? It might be Minority Report. So it sounds like this is a mix of, like, Minority Report with, like, the films that were on, like, a phone or a laptop, like Searching or Missing, those types of films. So I'll be very interested to see how this one kind of turns out. I'm intrigued by the concept. It'll be, like, probably down onto, like, the performances of everybody, as well as, like, how it's shot and shown, from the UI. But this looks pretty interesting. Or it sounds pretty interesting. Crime 101 set to release in sometime in 2025. Crime 101. The footage opens on the individual perspectives of 4 different people across Los Angeles. A jewel thief, played by Chris Hemsworth. A detective, played by Mark Ruffalo. A broker, played by Halle Berry. And a rebellious teenager with a love for motorcycles, played by Barry Keoghan. $11 million are on the line as Hemsworth and Barry team up together on a heist, but Ruffalo's commitment to his case and Keoghan's chaos complicates their plans. Alliances between these characters are formed and tested. In a key scene, Ruffalo is picked up by a driver who turns out to be the Hemsworth, turns out to be Hemsworth behind the wheel. As they chatter and the two men slowly reveal their motivations, the tension in the trailer reaches a climax. Crime 101 is a throwback to an older kind of ensemble crime thriller boosted by a star-studded cast. Moreover, the footage presented by Amazon MGM left enough room for the audience to imagine how this high-stakes story could possibly play out, giving its unpredictability. So, this sounds like, what Pixar did with Win or Lose, kind of showing everybody's perspective of like maybe the same event, but in this instance, it's a bank robbery carried out by two people. They're going to split up, and we'll probably cut back and forth, interacting with our other leads. So that'll be very interesting. Yeah, it just sounds like a very interesting concept, and we're very interested to see how this plays out. And with those four, Hemsworth, Ruffalo, Barry, and Keown, as well as Monica Barbaro and Jennifer Jason Leigh in the cast, I think this will be pretty good. Is God Is. Uh, Two twins, Karen Young and Mallory Johnson, go to their mother, Vivica A. Fox, whom they call God, for making them on her deathbed. God tells them they need to kill their father, the man responsible for a fire that has left all three with severe visible burns. The film was described as a mix of Greek tragedy, Afro-punk, and classic spaghetti western. The trailer absolutely sells this notion. There's a sense of excitement, comedy, grindhouse-style aesthetic, horror, and naturally, the classic thriller. The banter between Cara Young and Mallory Johnson is a lot of fun, and the series of supporting characters shown in the trailer all have serious personalities. Most intriguing is the unseen father of the two, who we hear only speak. Yet Sterling K. Brown is so good in the role that he already makes an impression off screen. The Amazon MGM adaptation has bold originality all over it, even though it's based on a play. Oh, it's based on a play. Much in the same way that The Whale was based on a play. So, and I really liked The Whale. I know some people had their problems with it, but I really liked The Whale. So, if they're able to translate this pretty well from stage to screen, again, I think we could potentially see another hit on our hands. Three Bags Full, a sheep detective movie. Kyle Balda directing with Craig Mazin. With Craig Mazin doing the screenplay. Holy cow. Alright. Hugh Jackman, Emma Thompson, Nicholas Braun, Nicholas Galanzine, Molly Gordon, Hung Chow, Tosin Cole, and Kobna Holbrook Smith in the cast. Family-friendly whodunit movie stars Hugh Jackman as a sheep herder who is murdered, only for his beloved sheep to go and solve his murder. The behind-the-scenes footage we saw promises of fun for the whole family vibe, with cast members like Molly Gordon, Emma Thompson, Nicholas Braun, Nicholas Galanzine, and Hong Chow showing a lot of star power. How exactly this movie will fulfill the whodunit genre has yet to be seen, but at the very least, the actors are exciting. Very interesting, based off of Three Bags Full by Leonie Swan. Interesting. His sheep solve his murder. That's an interesting concept. Makes me almost want to read the book. But the film is coming out in February of 26, so I can wait for a little while for the film to release. So yeah, not a lot of stuff released from MGM, but a lot of intriguing things. A lot of things based off of not original IP. A lot of the very thing that I hear a lot of people talk about. What they want to see in film nowadays. So it's very interesting. A lot of interesting stuff, and once we get to see some footage, maybe I will go check them out, and maybe I'll have reviews for them right here on this very channel. But yeah, guys, one more video left for right now, I should say. I may be recording the Disney panel right after it happens, so we'll see. But until then, guys, I'll catch you later.